Sorry if I sound a little out of breath and a little bit sick, or if I sneeze or cough. Okay. I ran into my house, went down the hallway, and entered my room, slamming the door behind me. I wanted to get away from everything. All those mean kids at school that tormented me every day, I wanted them out of my life. Even when I'm alone, their voices haunt my mind, and their words echo in my head. They start out as a whisper, and they become louder and louder, transforming into a scream. As I sat there alone, I tried to cry, but I could cry no longer. I felt like I had no tears left. Maybe I could cry over a sad movie, or maybe over my pet fish dying, but not over the abuse again. Every day, someone would find the perfect words to make me feel like a worthless soul. Just a disgusting creature that didn't belong in this world. My emotions were drained. I felt weak and unmotivated to live. I'd become emotionally numb to the world. My parents hadn't noticed a change in my behavior. They were always at work, trying to give me a good life. I guess many could say I had the perfect life. My dad was a big-time lawyer with my mom as his business assistant. They were high school sweethearts. He was a football player, she was a beautiful blonde cheerleader. Shortly after high school, they got married and had a baby boy. No, that baby boy is not me. His name was Charlie. He was born prematurely and didn't make it very far on this earth. That was something really hard for my parents to go through. Years later, my mom found herself pregnant with me. Praying that their second child would survive and live a life of health was their biggest wish. Well, here I am, and I did survive. My parents would do anything for me. They want the perfect life for me. They would give me anything I wanted, help me with any school assignment I was struggling with, and my dad would even take off work to teach me how to be the superstar quarterback like he was back in his glory days. The sad thing is, I don't even care about football. Body-slamming sweaty boys, running down a dirty field, chasing after a ball like some dog didn't sound the least bit appealing to me. I didn't want to let my parents down. I knew deep inside they wanted a superstar son to fit their perfect lifestyle. This is not what I wanted, though. I did not fit the stereotype of the all-American football player. Yes, I had the right size and look for it, but I always knew growing up that I was different. Like when I would go shopping with my mom and dad, instead of the action figures catching my eye, or the blaster guns, or the wiffle balls, it was the light-up Skechers, the gorgeous Barbie dolls, and the neon jump ropes. My dad discouraged me from all these feminine items. That's when I knew I was different. Dad did not like it either. He would take my Barbies and give me a ball and tell me to go play outside. I felt like I was living a lie growing up. I would tell my parents I was going to football practice when really I was going to show choir. I would tell them I was going out for some grub with the fellas when really I was going shoe shopping. The biggest lie I had to live was about my sexuality. I, Clayton Reagan Benefor, liked boys. I wasn't attracted to women. I could relate perfectly with them. All my friends were girls, but the feelings I had inside of me were that of a gay. I was gay. I felt like I couldn't be me at home, and school was the place where I could be. This is where I was so wrong. This is where all my regret comes from. This is what changed my life. This is what made me emotionally numb to the world. Now let's go back to me sitting in my room trying to cry over the torment. I was feeling so much pain inside, but I couldn't even express it outwardly anymore. That is when I began to cut myself. It was the only way to express how I was feeling. So every day after school, my parents would be at work, I'd come home, lock myself in my room, and reflect. Reflect on that day. I'd try and block out all the verbal abuse. I'd try to forget the notes people would put in my locker saying, homos deserve to die, or gay boys don't belong, or to go kill myself. But no matter how hard I tried to erase these words, these notes, these feelings, and these actions from my memory, I could not. I was sick of not having feeling. I was sick of not being able to cry. I was sick of feeling alone. No one understood me. So I'd go into the top drawer of my desk, get my pocket knife out, that of course Dad gave his manly son for Christmas, I'd press it into my wrist and slide it across until blood trickled down my arm. The pain brought tears to my eyes. I felt something. The pain I was inflicting on myself was like my therapy. It helped me express how I felt on my inside. After time went on, I became immune to cutting myself. Each time I did it, it affected me less and less. I continued to go to school and not tell anyone how I felt. I did not want to get tormented even more for being a baby or being a girl about it, or even worse, being gay. The days went by as I felt like I was going through hell. I just accepted it. Verbal abuse is out there, and it's happening, so I'm just going to have to deal with it. Things started to get worse, though. What went from harsh words and notes turned into pranks and phone calls. It was the last prank on December 12, 2010 that ended things. It was a Sunday, so both of my parents were home. We had decided to go down to the valley and see a movie at one of those fancy movie theaters with assigned seating. After, we went to my favorite restaurant, Ruth's Chris, and had a late lunch. I was pretty excited to get away from everything and be with my parents. We saw our movie and then came home. It was a perfect day. It wasn't until we were on our way home and pulled into the driveway that horror set place. My house was completely covered in signs that made the point very clear that I should not be alive. I didn't belong with normal people, and I was a gay freak. My worst nightmare came into place. The look on my parents' face was unforgettable. Instantly, my mother collapsed, breaking down into a sob. My parents tried to approach me. Unsure of what they would say, I didn't give them the chance to. I am sick of being alone. I'm sick of being put down. I'm sick of feeling numb. I'm sick of being treated differently because of how I feel. And most of all, I am sick and tired of the constant verbal abuse. I ran into my room, grabbed my keys, got into my car, and started driving as fast as I could go. I didn't know where I was going, and I didn't know what I was doing. My heart was beating so fast. My arms were shaking. My vision was blurred as tears poured out of my eyes. I was an embarrassment to my family. I am not the superstar athlete. I am just a boy that doesn't belong in the world. Why? Why did I even have to be born? I'm better off dead. All those kids at school were right. My speed accelerated. I began to tremble. Words could not describe my feelings at this moment. I turned around a corner and saw a tree off into the distance. I am done. I give up. Goodbye. I pushed the pedal to the floor, causing full acceleration into the tree. Everything went black. I felt no more. The screaming words in my head were finally silenced. Belief. Something believed, an opinion or a conviction. I believe that there is hope in a world full of hopelessness. I believe in a dream, even though we live in a nightmare. I believe that there is always light in the midst of darkness. I believe. Do you believe? This story that you've just listened to is something that is happening in the world every single day. I believe that verbal abuse should never be tolerated. Statistics found that almost 1 in 5 teens have thought about suicide. 1 in 6 teens have made plans for suicide, and more than 1 in 12 teens have attempted suicide in the last year, all due to verbal abuse. Your tongue is your strongest weapon. We all know how hurtful words can be. I am not here to tell you something we all know. I'm here to tell you I believe in hope. Hope for a change. It all starts with you, though. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. It is a big task to create change, but only can we do it through Christ. I will close with these powerful lyrics talking about believing in hope and finding peace. Take a stand against verbal abuse. Take a stand for what is right. For in Christ alone, our hope is found. He is our light, our strength, our song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are stilled, when strivings cease. Our comforter, our all in all,